permettez-moi rapidement de vous présenter Margaret Hodge et Lee. Margaret Hodge était cédulée pour être ici aujourd'hui, mais elle a eu un contretemps. Alors, ce qu'on a fait, c'est qu'on a envoyé ce qu'on nous a proposé d'être les meilleurs caméramans à Londres pour aller prendre une vidéo de Margaret Hodge sur les questions qui sont dans votre programme. Donc, 4 questions dans votre programme sur ce panneau-là. Donc, ces 4 questions-là ont été posées à Mme Hodge. Et je dois vous dire que Margaret Hodge, si vous la connaissez pas déjà, c'est une élue dans la circonscription de Barking au Parlement britannique depuis 1994. Et Margaret Hodge a été élue présidente du Comité des comptes publics. C'était la première dame à être élue présidente du Comité des comptes publics du Royaume-Uni. Elle a occupé ce poste de 2010 à 2015. Et entre les années 98 et 2015, elle a occupé plusieurs postes au niveau du Parlement britannique. Et Lady Hodge est aussi graduée du London School of Economics. Donc, sans plus tarder, on va commencer la vidéo de Margaret Hodge. Et à chacune des questions, puisque Lady Hodge ne répond pas aux questions, elle répond aux questions, mais elle ne repose pas les questions. Je vais les poser les questions et Antoine va faire jouer la vidéo après chacune des questions. Donc, la première question qu'on a posée à Lady Hodge, et c'est les mêmes questions, comme je disais, qui sont dans votre programme, et on a cru que à cette étape-ci de la journée, c'était vraiment important de se poser la question, qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire? Face à toute cette situation-là, qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire si on veut, si on n'est pas fiscaliste ou si on n'est pas au niveau des politiques ou comment qu'on peut contribuer à améliorer le système? Et donc, toutes les questions tournent autour de cela. Donc, la première question, c'est Is there hope that change can happen? How do you know?
I feel really confident that the whole campaign by politicians, by journalists, by civil society to ensure that we have a fair tax system where everybody contributes according to either their individual wealth or, if you're a corporate company, according to the profits you make, a fair proportion into the common pot for the common good. I feel confident that we can make progress in that campaign. I think we've really touched an issue which resonates with people across socioeconomic grouping, men, women, old, young, wherever they live. And I think it resonates certainly here in the UK because everybody's struggling to make ends meet. Most people pay their taxes automatically through what here is the pay-as-you-earn system. 85% of people pay automatically. And therefore, to find that some people are choosing, are actually exercising choice as to whether or not they should pay their taxes is deeply offensive. And people are also experiencing the cuts in public services that are coming from everybody trying to cut their public sector deficit. And again, that's impacting on their lives. And in that climate, to see some people actually refusing to pay their fair share or aggressively avoiding or at the worst evading their responsibilities in relation to tax is deeply, deeply offensive. And the other thing I would say is, in the past, we've never really thought about this. We stumbled on this agenda in the House of Commons committee that I chair. And I think the reason we haven't is because it's really complicated. And in a way, the tax professionals, the extremely wealthy, wealthy individuals, and the big corporations have been able to hide behind the complexity to avoid really being us understanding how they are manipulating the tax system with artificial structures to aggressively avoid or to evade their responsibilities in relation to tax.
On a aussi posé la question à Lady Hodge. Évidemment, vous comprendrez que dans le contexte où est-ce que la Commission sur les finances publiques de l'Assemblée nationale se penche aussi sur l'initiative des paradis fiscaux et que Lady Hodge a agi beaucoup au niveau en tant que présidente de la Commission des finances du Royaume-Uni, son opinion nous importe beaucoup. Donc, how do you get involved?
I think one gets involved in all sorts of ways, really. When we held our hearing and got representatives from Starbucks, Amazon, and Google to give us evidence on how they arranged their financial affairs to avoid paying tax and shifted their profits out of the jurisdictions where they made their money into jurisdictions where they could enjoy the profits without paying tax. When we exposed that, there was real anger and outrage here in the UK, and people voted with their feet. So Starbucks suddenly saw that people stopped going to buy their cups of coffee there. There was real competition. Ironically, it clearly impacted so adversely on Starbucks' market share that within a few weeks, I had one of the chief directors of Starbucks come to see me and offer a voluntary contribution of £20 million in tax. That concept is absurd. You don't choose whether or not you pay tax. You pay according to the rules, a fair contribution based on the profits you earn. But the fact that he felt he had to come and say, I'm going to pay a bit of tax, demonstrates the strength and the effect of a boycott of Starbucks on the profitability of that company. Companies' reputations matter, and if their reputations are damaged by aggressive tax avoidance policies that they adopt, they will lose market share. That will impact on their profits. We have to take a full advantage of that to put the pressure, the moral pressure on companies to behave morally, pay their fair share, and if not, we shouldn't buy their goods. I don't use Amazon today. Life is fine not using Amazon. It's a bit harder to avoid Google, and I certainly, boycotting Amazon is perfectly possible. Boycotting Starbucks is easy, and certainly I think those boycotts can have an impact.
Troisième question pour Lady Hodge. The do's and don'ts of getting involved, lesson learned from her experience.
The committee that I chaired in the House of Commons has absolutely no executive power. All we can do is shine a light on an issue by exposing it to public view, and hope that by doing that we can stimulate a debate. And what I hadn't realised was really how powerful that could be. So I think just opening up and for debate so that people can see the actual practice of particularly the big multinational companies and the way that they structure their businesses in such a way by setting up artificial financial structures in low tax jurisdictions to shift their profits and avoid tax. If you can just open that to public account, that is really, really effective. I think the other thing is don't actually get put off by tax professionals telling you you don't get it. Nothing in life is that complicated. And if the tax professionals can't explain it to you in words that you can understand, it's their problem, not yours. So I was every now and then called Tax Prat of the Year, because the claim was that I didn't understand the technical rules. I think I did. And I think people, again, hiding behind complexity was really a way of failing to be accountable rather than really reflecting genuine complexity. So don't be frightened of saying, I don't understand, and getting people to explain things to you.
Dernière question qui reprend un peu les derniers propos. How to get things moving and people talking when these topics are so complex?
We had absolutely no difficulty in getting this very complex technical issue of tax discussed in the pub, in the coffee shop, round the dinner table, on the headlines on the evening news. And I think none of us have to be frightened that the thing is so technical that it's beyond our understanding. It isn't. I think there's a very simple principle which sits behind this whole issue of fair taxation. As a society, we are held together by agreeing a whole set of rules which we all decide we will abide by. And it may be which side of the road you drive on, but it may be how much you contribute from the wealth you have, your income you have, or the profits you earn into the common pot for the common good. And how much you give is decided through democratic processes, through our parliaments. And if any individual or any big multinational sets up artificial structures to avoid paying their fair share into the common pot for the common good, they are doing wrong. And I think just understanding that simple principle makes it much easier to talk about a complex system. Don't let the professionals say to you, this is all too complicated for your little brain. It isn't. It's perfectly straightforward for all of us. We just want fairness in the tax system. And that is what will build actually confidence in the tax system, which is absolutely key if we're to raise the money to provide the public services that come out of taxation. So don't be frightened of the complexity. Everybody cares, and just go for it. Keep the campaign going, because unless we are bold and clear in our campaign, we won't achieve our objective, which is a fair tax system with everybody contributing into that common pot for the common services that make us a civilized society.
Lady Hodge nous a envoyé un message ce matin pour nous souhaiter bonne chance à la conférence. Puis je vais lui transmettre qu'on a chaleureusement applaudi sa présentation et on a souri à quelques reprises.